Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. We're playing in the Fall of Oriath beta. And we just defeated Innocence. So now we're gonna see how we can reach Kitava.
You've destroyed him and yet...
So, he has Sin's voice in his head or something. Ooh, burning. Lots of stuff is burning. So it's gonna be a nice test to see if we can push the game to its extremes and get some more of the pixel mode to trigger. But there's a large amount of aggression on the side of the attackers here. In between episodes I did sell all of the things we found and I did some flask crafting. We now have elemental resistance on our stipnite flask, so as long as that one is up, we are actually maxed out against lightning as well as the other two resists. So that is something that at least is fixed now. And I did upgrade my health flasks to the hollowed ones. So our flasks are upgraded, but our gear is still the old stuff. Ooh, trapper mitts. That looks like a more or less a drop-in thing I would want. Okay. Can just explode them, works relatively well. Except for when you're them, then it's less fun. Yeah, but you do notice that the alpha strike of the enemies is doing a lot more damage than it did before. So I wonder if, no, it's a couple of gear upgrades, a slightly increased evasion, slightly increased energy shield pool, things like that. If that's gonna be enough to do a little bit more just tanking in the middle of packs, or whether we have to stay true to our nature and keep on hitting and running rather than just going all out and very aggressive. But we'll see. It's always the fun thing of playing a new build. It's a journey of discovery, and you're testing your theories, the assumptions, the preconceptions you have about the build. Okay, there was a little bit of latency there. It could have been just simple latency instead of a rendering lag. That one spiked a little, but I didn't see the pixels all over the place. I must say, darting in and out of combat like this works rather well. Running out of energy shield is a very good visual signal from the peripheral vision from the corner of your eye that you need to start moving. In this case, it went very, very quickly. Yeah, brutal shrine. As I mentioned before, I do play way more relaxed, more aggressive, I would say, less thoughtful, meticulous than I would on hardcore. It's also an interesting way of just pushing a build against limits that normally I don't dare to, because Now, one of the driving reasons on hardcore of why I always play so cautious and meticulous is because I really don't want to die. Because, well, it means, especially once we are further into the game, it might mean now having to redo like 20 or 30 or even more hours of work that I put into a character. And now if I've advanced far enough with a character, then that actually means just the end of that specific character, and I actually have to theoretically craft a new build, because now doing the same character twice in a row, I don't really enjoy it. So there's a lot of things just riding on not dying, so that's why I very strongly err towards the side of caution. Oh, even to the point of being paranoid about dying and just not doing certain things because they appear to be too hard or too risky, or just not something that I can accurately gauge just how dangerous it is. When I'm playing on standard, then there are no consequences to death. So that means I can now dive into that big room filled with lots of angry, scary monsters. And if I make it out alive on the other side, awesome. And I face down a big room filled with scary monsters, and I get the loot. If not, well, lose a little bit of XP, and I get to try it again like I have now. Okay, so Wooden Blades does get stuck behind some objects, such as shrines, and then you don't move. That's one of the most annoying things about it. If you get stuck, then you get stuck. So now, if you normally enjoy the really slow and cautious and meticulous playstyle that I have, and this more careless playstyle feels jarring, not true to how I normally play, then this hopefully helps to explain a little about why I play differently now than I normally do. But no worries, I will go back to hardcore once the game is out. Okay, so we have a couple of things to go for. One of them is the fight with Utula, the first person we saw in town that was not Navali. It's the guy that is now missing. Because of course he was a little bit of a zealot for Kitava. And well, he's now leading the bunch. Okay, there's lots of stuff happening here. Let's just not stand in one place too long, because there's a lot of projectiles flying about. So if you're standing still, it helps you stay alive, at least in this case, because you're just taking a lot less damage. Let's see the flasks. Yeah, let's see heretical guardians with the spectral throws. And there's a way out. Excellent. Okay, there is a waypoint and an entrance into the ossuary. It's one of the places we have to go. First though, let's just clear out a little bit of what is just bugging me here. Then we go in peace. In this case, now we're filled up enough with gear. Might as well just empty the pockets and then go back. And then we were at the ruined square. So also very much forward, we do have a Reliquary. That's gonna be the other area connected here. And this area, I think there was not really something all that exciting. No bosses, no anything. So it's just relatively easy to go through here. See, we are 46. This is a 44 area, and I saw it there. So this is a little bit of a reprieve from the very intensity that is the combat outside. So in terms of just a shield remains, that's just drop stuff. But just in terms of game design. Now I have some intense areas, have some more quiet areas, so you're not tensed up all the time, but you actually get to relax a little bit in between. There's something shiny on the other side. There, ghost. They are not shining anymore. One of the interesting side effects of having Abyssal Cry out in a lot of the fights is that we don't leave as many corpses as we normally do. So things with after death triggers, I don't think they actually trigger if their corpse explodes. So with things like porcupines, that is rather lovely. I'm sure in the new content there's plenty of mobs where that applies as well. Fizz reflect, so that is gonna hurt, but it's not gonna hurt enough. Let's do more smaller hits and we do leech in between. The thing is, we leech from both the physical as well as the chaos components of the attack and the very tiny elemental damage. But of course the reflect is only based on the physical part. And now finally we start on melding. 500 energy shield and nearly 1300 life. Holy chainmail, that's 5 sockets. I'm tempted to bring it along. If we get a 4-link for our Viper Strike, then we might actually fit some of the other skills in there, because we do have quite a bunch of red skills as well as a couple blues. On the other hand, we do lose out on a bunch of evasion, which does power part of our defenses, because now if you're not getting hit, then that helps as well. See, right, this is not the way forward. Well, it's just been dancing around it the entire time. We will see. We'll leave no grave unturned. Oh, more or less. See, shark skin, that was just evasion. It was. Okay, another Ella reflector. Corrupting blood, that's gonna be lovely. Nip that in a bit. Extra fist, that's okay. We can just dodge it. Another treasure claw, might as well. Well, the funny thing is these treasure claws are the level 37 version, 25 life on hit. They have a 1.3 attack speed. The level 40 version actually have 1 life per hit less, it's 24. But their attack speed is higher, so you do effectively gain more health per second because you attack faster. And there is the sign of purity. And a lever for the way out. Okay, so that is one part of the puzzle. Back to the ruined square. Yay, this is still the same instance. We might as well just empty our pockets. Did fill it up halfway through. Okay. Then let's do the Reliquary, which I believe was somewhere nearer to the bottom of the map. And after that, we have to look for the ladder out, or the way at least out. So eventually I have to get to the rooftop of the Cathedral. So 44 area, so now the level increase is not that steep, which is consistent with how things progressed before, when we still had Cruel and Merciless. Note to self, one of these areas had a side area where Utula was. He needs to die as well. Oh, this was not the place. But there's a bridge, so we can just push forward. That works. So, keep those Stibnite flasks up. Because it definitely helps me against lightning attacks. As well as whatever these heretics are trying to do. Are you? Okay, seems like some of them are exploding corpses now. Or did I just imagine that? We'll see. Hello, goodbye, and this is where Utula greets us.
Did you think our vengeance was done, Savior? Oh no, it has only begun.
Okay, just explode all the things and just clean up the battlefield a little bit before we actually engage with the boss himself. Okay, and yeah, we could just rush him. That worked out rather well. So that was an optional side quest that we didn't even pick up, but we got credit for it anyway, which is good. So next up, keep searching. I think this is definitely one of those builds that the more you play it and the more you get warmed up playing it in your play session, the smoother it will go. And every time you start playing again, you need to get back into it, because you really do just need to move around a lot and get a feel for the flow of battle. Here's the Reliquary, so everything seems to be stuck down to the bottom side of the map. We got a waypoint here, but not a lot of space. But we can go back and grab our rewards. Bannon. Ah yes. Projectiles pierce one target, increase projectile damage, poacher's aim. Warlord's reach, +1 melee weapon and unarmed range, as well as increased attack damage. And Assassin's haste, mana regen, movement speed, attack and cast speed. I think the +1 melee range is probably going to be the most interesting one. Just to reach a little further, attack a little easier. Also, he's now a merchant. Anything really insanely good? Ooh. Just nice for the chrome, but 4 linked bone armor, which is a upgrade over the Scarlet Raiment. Though at 35, it's not the top tier. There is a better one, but appreciate what you have, not what you don't have. And anything good for sale? Yeah, see, these are the Azure Gougers, slightly faster attack. Okay, and for the rest, nothing has been linked.
Don't ever give up.
Good. So I'll just put this one in the let's actually have a look at it later bin. Let's go back to the Reliquary. Yeah, Kitava's Torment were 3 different relics, I think, that were more or less just hidden in the corners of the map. 44 area, I'm 47, so I am over leveled. So as a result, I might as well just speed through this a little bit. Still, there's a decent density of monsters here, so the Abyssal Cry is doing pretty good work. Oh, also pick that one up. Hinakora's hair. Another elemental reflector. This was a way forward, exactly. Visually on your screen, sometimes because of the height differences and the fog of war, it's sometimes difficult to see whether something goes through or not. But your minimap is very helpful. Oh, 16%, that's the one I want and or need. Okay, there's a there here. It's no more. Well, if you're doing a slow playthrough, full clear of everything, it seems very easy to get massively overleveled. And I'm not even talking about just rerunning certain areas in order to gear up and things like that. Side areas like the Reliquary and the Ossuary on the other side, they're relatively gentle compared to the other content. So I think for Act 5, if you need areas to just grind for gear, for currency, for experience, whatever you want or need, this is probably going to be a very nice place. It's my experience so far, it's much less threatening than the outside. Simply because the enemies are much slower, they're more simple melee focused. There's some wand attacks, but yeah, they're sluggish, they don't really do a lot of damage. So for a hardcore playthrough, especially if you're playing a character that's not inherently very strongly tanky, yeah, this could be one of those areas that similar to Dried Lake or the docks or the ledge, where you just run around, you murder things. Of course, depends on how the league mechanics of the next league are gonna be. I think it's gonna be called Harbinger League. Though besides the name, we don't know anything. We are like Jon Snow in that regard. But let's you can make a nice circle here and then just come back to the waypoint. And no, contrary to the right lake, you actually have the waypoint inside rather than having to do that awkward little walk through town itself. There's chopper, that's just an axe. Okay, so yeah, actual town stop because of items. Lani, here, fix. A skill point, I appreciate that. More life and more energy shields. So in town, of course, we have less. But discipline gets boosted even further, so that's always good. And let's put that one over there. Excellent. Excellent. Now the final bit. Let's look for Kitava. Yeah, the instances are still up. So that's. Oh wait. We went to the Reliquary. That seems like a better exit because then we're further down. So we came from the top right of the map, so I'm assuming we're just gonna head towards the bottom or towards the top left. A bit of a zigzag pattern as we've been going. That seems like it's the way to go. Ooh, strongbox. What's in the strongbox? Oh, I thought I tagged it. Apparently I didn't. And I got stuck whirling behind a strongbox. Definitely slightly annoying. Wonder if you combine whirling blades with facing in some way. If you could face through the whatchamacallit, strongboxes, or whatever else is annoying me at the time. Hello there. We are awfully lucky that most of the reflects are elemental reflects. That said, we're only in Act 5. Still plenty of opportunities for the game to throw more lethal things at us. And well, earlier we did fatally stumble on a room with a brutal shrine, so it's not necessarily reflect that's gonna be murderous. There are way other things in the game that are dangerous. You, stop running so I can backstab you. Okay, there we are. We zoom out to the Cathedral rooftop. For a little bit of perspective, a sense of scale. Then we march onwards towards Kitava. But it's 28 minutes into the episode. So this feels slightly faster than the first bit. Very curious to see how the Kitava fight is gonna go. Because the Slayer didn't really have too much issues there. But I seem to remember I was at around 1800 or 1900 life at the time, and I had a fair chunk of armor, especially for my level. I don't have those luxuries here. I mean, I barely have any armor to speak of. So it's gonna be a little bit of evasion, which is at 35% chance because, well, I'm slightly undergeared. So yeah, I guess I'll have to compensate here with player skill. Loosely translated as I'm doomed. So let me pick up the skill, yes. Okay, just so many mobs in here. Let's just at least move around a little bit. durability, that's always nice. Hey, hello there, Ghosty. Bye bye. Okay. That worked. The volatile flame blood. These do look awesome. They're really demon-like. Okay, you shouldn't walk through, you should actually dash through, because otherwise you're just gonna be too slow to dodge the final explosion. So 45 area, just double checking. And I'm nearly at 48. Once again, slightly overleveled. But I'm not gonna grab my notable skill gem or skill point before the Kitava fight, so it's only gonna help me a little bit. Okay, and okay, that's just been unfortunately stacked. So after this fight we will be losing 30% of our elemental resistances, which means that once we hit Act 5 I'm not gonna be in a very great spot, because my lightning resistance already is not maxed. Upside is of course the Stipmet Flask will help me alleviate some of that, because of the elemental resistances I get when it's active. But it's getting more and more urgent to just get better gear. Hey, and I see a Varici.
You there. A moment.
Nicely dodged the demon attack here. Kitava's Herald. Okay, what do you want me to do?
Slaughter the nut.
Go back, kill the guards, keep the target alive. Oh, I do need the reputation with the masters, so let's just go back a bit. And we found them, more or less near the beginning. Wonderful. Keep the target alive. We hopefully can do that. Let's not use the Abyssal Cry. Okay, so Totem Dude, that means he's going to be hanging back. That's in my favor. Traps. Excellent, we got him. And might as well just empty my pockets. Ooh, that's a top tier roll. And hello, level 3 for Richie. Just follow the top end of the map here for some more minions we haven't killed, because we stuck to the bottom most of the time. Okay, and then we're mostly back to where we were. Oh. Hello everybody, how are you doing today? Also one of the things to consider, once you got the Abyssal Cry, everything is a ticking time bomb. So even if just whirling bladesing, if that's a verb, through a pack in order to hit them, poison them, because we got a pretty good chance of poisoning actually with whirling blades now. That might be already enough to just set off that spark that is gonna ignite the powder keg. So in that case, now we don't need to stand and fight, because monsters are already dead. They just need a little bit of time to realize it. So just like characters in cartoons. And there is the door. This is going to be the final fight. 36 minutes into the episode, I think we did pretty well. So, let's do this. Hello. Okay, that did about 300 points of damage. Oof. I had about 600 life remaining, so that's 1200 points of damage. Yeah. Interesting thing is, I don't actually have a target to whirling blades against. So keeping that one up is more difficult here. Hey, you're starting to look a little bit more like yourself. Okay. Most of the attacks are pretty well telegraphed. Just don't be there when they go off. Can we roll through? Yes, we can. Oh. There was some kind of red debuff with a damage over time component to it. Okay. That hurts. Back here we should be relatively safe. Okay, that's the second stage done. So that red stuff, it is pretty icky. Okay, and as with the Innocence fight, this is probably going to be the toughest part of the entire fight. Simply because we actually have to stand and fight. Right, note to self. It's going to be about the heart, not necessarily about the add-ons. We have AoE attacks, so let's use that to our advantage. Exactly. Okay. So don't get distracted by the mobs. And don't get hit by the gnarly stuff. Okay, just keeping that one in the back is better actually. And yeah, getting hit hurts. Okay, now again he's marking the floor. Oh, those things go out slowly. This is relatively mana intense. Not continuously attacking, not leeching. Don't really have a strong natural mana regen. Okay. Silly. I was too focused on trying to set up an Abyssal Cry followed by my Stip Knight rather than just whirling out of there, because I was surrounded too much and I was too busy focusing on the setup instead of actually keeping myself alive, because your melee splash life gain on hit is the thing that is gonna sustain your life when you are surrounded. Good thing is we start here. jeez. They do damage, they do damage. So what is that? Maimed. Ah. Okay, starting to... Oh, the moment I was gonna say, I'm starting to feel like I'm slightly more in control of the fight. Things go very much sideways. This the heart is not a blocking obstacle, as in you can whirl through it. That helps. That helps a lot. But if this were hardcore, then we would have failed this fight at least. This is significantly more difficult than the Innocence fight. Which is interesting because for my Slayer, this felt much easier. It was a couple of close calls, but I felt like I was staying alive better. Let's build up a couple of poison stacks. And there we are. And we have won. Well, we have orchestrated a non-victory. See, now he's angry. So he's got a big mole there in his belly where his heart was. Some big gaping teeth. And we have fallen. Now we've been saved. Yeah, 30% penalty to resist and 50% increased soul cost of all Vaal skills, such as this one. And that gets us out of here. So next step. Take the ship back to Rayclast. We have all the waypoints. Then we have Lily over here.
I'm Captain Lily Roth.
And we're sailing for Rayclast.
Remember, this ain't no charity. Don't think I'll be forgetting that, baby.
So now we are back in Act 6. So once again, this is where I'm gonna end the episode. Felt good doing Act 5 in 2 parts. And just looking back on it, it's no, the Innocence fight is a very natural halfway point. Otherwise, there's no really big fights to stop at. So I think in future playthroughs, I might actually take Act 5 on in the same way. Because otherwise, it's just going to be a little weird. The Kitava fight with those minions, definitely a lot tougher to deal with compared to Innocence, where you really have a lot of space to roam. But also in the Innocence fight, once he started summoning minions, things got a lot more dicey than against Innocence himself. Because you're just getting swamped and there's just a lot more potential for damage from a lot of sources. So yeah, oh, in the setup currently we are spec'd for quite some damage. We've got Melee Splash, Viper Strike, Vaal Toxins and Void Manipulation. Could of course drop either Vaal Toxins or Void Manipulation and put in a life gain on hit, which I think I've been leveling on Weapon Switch because of course I wanted Vengeance with life gain on hit, but I don't have the links and the space for it, so it's on Weapon Switch, just leveling along. But if you put that on your main attack with Melee Splash, then of course you're gonna hit all those mobs and you're gonna gain a lot of life. And then even if your energy shield gets depleted, your life will continuously get topped up and topped up and topped up. And hopefully that is gonna help you stay alive. Did notice mana was more difficult to keep up. I definitely was chugging that mana flask for quite a lot during the final fights. But no, that is part of the build. Once we get more damage, hopefully the mana will help to sustain itself. Especially once we get some claws that have mana on hit. Right now I'll have a life on hit. I did have one claw come by that had mana on hit, but didn't have the proper sockets and was already 1 tier below what I was using. So yeah, it was a little bit of an iffy upgrade. But hopefully in the future we can fix that. But for now, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching. And I hope to see you again next time when we take on Act 6. Bye bye.